Peter, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We've just been discussing here about what Remembrance Day and Remembrance Sunday means in this day and age, and whether or not it's still as important for this generation as it was for the generations who remember the World Wars.
I think it's even more important for several reasons. It lapsed in the 1970s and 1980s. And I think now, because it's been taught in primary schools, in secondary schools, there are university courses on First and Second World War studies. These were never available before. It's far more in our national consciousness. Schools take trips to the battlefields to discover what it was like in France. They study the poetry. And of course, the continent is so much easier to get to. All of that means that we are far more aware of the First and Second World War, I think, than we ever were before. And then the whole business of commemoration and remembrance that goes hand in hand. And I think, genealogy, finding our past, our ancestors, means so much, because if we look at our country now, perhaps, although we don't realise it, every second person had an ancestor who fought or served in some way in uniform or in a factory in the First World War. So it's part of our collective nationhood.
I think, Peter, that there's a chance that actually conflicts like the Falklands or Afghanistan or Iraq, or even what's happening at the moment in Ukraine, will become more important for people on this day than perhaps the world wars as they become more distant.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Remembrance Day started really actually in 1919 and 1920 and was really just figured for the First World War. After the Second World War, that kicked in. And I think it's in our minds very much because we've been in ongoing wars and conflicts pretty much since 2000 for the last sort of 22 years. And of course, today, this is all about remembering people who died and sacrificed themselves in the cause of national freedom. And, our comrades in Ukraine must come into our minds as well, because they're making the sacrifices that we did in 1418 and 3945 and afterwards for exactly the same reasons.